Ask a question, we'll give an answer. You don't like the answer, too bad for you, but welcome to our podcast. Go ahead, John.
All right, we've got a couple here. This is from Dick Thorne. He says, remove Dino. And he goes on to say, perhaps his sister can force it. So
who knows about the ownership stability, instability? We do know their history, though. Their history has not been good. Their head coaches average a little bit over 3 years on the job since the Spanoses took over. And all you need to do is just look back. This is a team that ran off the coach that led them to the Super Bowl, Bobby Ross. And this is a team that fired Marty Schottenheimer, who went 14-2.
Oh, yeah.
So, the first family of football, I don't know that you can trust their football instincts. Next question.
Okay, so let's take a look here. And it's Mark Lindsay. He says, lots of joy in seeing Spanos' Chargers embarrass themselves yet again. He has some bad karma, and this will not help their minuscule fan base grow. Another 17 away games next year.
Well, when you hear that come out of the mouths of players that were used to playing on the road, because we play on the road all season, even when we're at home, that's a bad statement. But that being said, who would have thought, John, when we started the season, we did our NFL preview, one of the first shows we ever did. Who would have thought both the Rams and the Chargers be out of the playoffs at this point in time? What an absolute stunner that is. But I don't know that they've made great progress as a franchise in the LA market. I still think when you think LA sports, you think Dodgers, you think Lakers, and then everybody else. Even though the Clippers have had a really nice run under that ownership of Steve Ballmer, they're still not front and center in the attention span of everybody else. So this is a big setback for the Chargers to play as poorly as they did and to lose this game. And now just the tidal wave of bad feelings towards the Spanos family has just bubbled to the surface again. And even the guys in L.A., the columnists and the media in L.A. are making reference to the bad siege of criticism directed at the owner from LA fans. And by the way, the guys down the freeway in San Diego still don't like it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's just a disaster what's going on with the Chargers right now. And, when they played in that small stadium, it was totally an away game for them every week. Now they're in the big stadium, with Cranky, and hopefully they're building a fan base, but it's got to be tough. I mean, LA fans want a winner. The Chargers are a loser right now. So
at this point in time. Next question.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about LA teams. There were some really good comments that came in on the live stream or on the YouTube channel about the Charles White situation with the Trojans. And this is from Ms. Alanius, as her handle there. He was who all the boys wanted to be in my neighborhood in Pacoima. Rip White.
Tell you what, he was a great college running back. He was unbelievable. I mean, when you 6,235 yards, student body right at USC, came to the Rams, led the league in rushing his first year. I think it was 1982, but that was a strike-shortened season. But he had injuries, and lifestyle problems, substance abuse really impacted his life. I met him in Cleveland when I was working covering the Browns. Is when I first met him, but he was a shell of the running back he had been with the Rams, and obviously prior to that. So it's a sad passing. It's a terrible example of what substance abuse issues can do to a person's career and a life. He did come back to USC as an assistant coach, running backs coach, but his lifestyle continued, and they finally removed him and they separated themselves. It was kind of a sad divorce along the way, but history will write. He's one of the four great ones. Anthony Davis, Charles White, Marcus Allen, and Reggie Bush. I mean, four of the great ones of Tailback U.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really special legacy that the Trojans have there in USC. I think you can make an argument that the Trojans rank higher on the ladder than the Chargers do right now.
Well, if they ever start to win and win consistently and play any shred of defense, yeah, probably they do. Okay. Next question.
Here's another one from the YouTube comments. This is from Fat Albert, and he's talking about the Sean McVay burnout situation. He says, this guy reminds me a lot of Dick Vermeil. I hope he winds up in better shape.
Well, he's coming back. We'll talk more about that in our Thursday podcast, but he is coming back. It took 4 days to make the decision. I think there's all kinds of realities here. He's too young to get out of coaching to go into broadcasting. He's got to learn to balance his life a little bit more. You are correct. The consideration that the last time we saw this publicly was Dick Vermeil. But tell you what, I've been around these guys for a long time broadcasting NFL football and covering teams. These guys all do it the same. There's very few exceptions of guys that aren't in that office, sleeping in their office, doing it 24/7, 365. The pressure they put on themselves, that the owners put on them, the fans and the media expect of them is phenomenal. One of the most unique guys that I ever met was Chuck Noll. The second most unique guy is one of his proteges, Mike Tomlin. They have a structure. We're going to get our work done during the structure. You are going to have a family life. You're going to have off days. But those guys are few and far between. Every coach that I know, you sit with them in July when training camp opens, and they're suntanned and they look great and have had a pretty good off season. I'll guarantee you by week 6 of the regular season, they look terrible. And by the 12th week of the season, they look like death. They sleep in their office. They work ridiculous hours. They look at video till their eyes fall out. I think there's just too much negative return by investing that much time into that one topic. You can only prepare so much. You got to have talent. You got to have luck that you don't get all your guys hurt. And you got to be creatively good to get the job done. But boy, I laugh about this because I was really close to Schottenheimer. And I was even closer to Bobby Ross when I was the voice of the Chargers. And to see where they were when training camp opened and how they looked, and see where they were at the end of the season, fighting for a playoff spot, they look like life. They look like death. It's the nature of the business.
Well, it's almost like the president of the United States when they first get inaugurated till when they finish their term. They look like two totally different men.
Yeah. All right, let's